Hi, this is Ellen from the Chili Dog. Today I am working on a pair of Secret Admirer socks, and I am going to show you how to prevent gusset gaps without picking up any extra stitches or darning the gaps shut. I learned this trick from my friend Lois at our monthly sock knitting group, and all you're going to need is 2 locking stitch markers. Let's get started. If you have ever knit a pair of socks with a flap and gusset style heel, you know that it's very easy to get a hole right here at the corner of the gusset when you switch from working back and forth in rows for the flap and the turn heel. Pick up your stitches along the side of the flap and then continue working the rest of the sock in rounds. One reason that this happens is because as we're knitting the heel flap, there's naturally going to be some extra tension on the fabric between the flap and the held instep stitches. That tension is going to cause the held instep stitches and the stitches on our heel flap to pull away from each other and cause a big gap right here at the side of our sock. So, to prevent that gap, when you're ready to start knitting the very first row of your heel flap, you can take a locking stitch marker and insert that locking stitch marker through 2 or 3 stitches on the heel side and 2 or 3 stitches on the instep side. So I'm going to go through 3 today, just because I'm feeling like it. Stitches here on my heel flap side and just go right through the center of those stitches. And then I'm also going to go through 3 stitches on the instep side. And then lock the marker shut. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side of my sock. So this time I'm going to go through 3 of my held instep stitches, and then 3 of my heel flap stitches, and then lock the marker shut. These stitch markers will hold the fabric so it doesn't get pulled apart as I'm working my heel flap. So now that my markers are placed, I am just going to knit my heel flap like normal. I knit my heel flap, I turned my heel, I picked up my stitches along the first side of the heel flap, and now I am ready to continue knitting in the round and work my instep stitches in pattern. Since this stitch marker held my heel stitches and my instep stitches close together, no big gap formed right here, so I don't need to do anything special to close the gap. All I need to do is remove the locking stitch marker, and then I can just go ahead and knit my instep stitches. When I get to the other side of the instep, before these 3 stitches, when I get right here, I will go ahead and I'll unlock this stitch marker, work the last 3 instep stitches, and then continue picking up my stitches on the other side of the heel flap. And again, since this stitch marker is holding the instep and the heel together, no big gap can form right here at the corner of the gusset. I hope you enjoyed learning how to prevent gusset gaps without picking up any extra stitches. And if you did, make sure to share this video with your friends and subscribe to my channel, The Chili Dog, on YouTube. Until we stitch again, happy knitting!